Let's have a session on Payback. It's one of those investment appraisals. Let's get straight into it.
So the best way to explain ARR, NPV or Payback or even sensitivity analysis is to use real numbers. So for all of those videos, I'm going to use the same numbers for continuity, and we're going to have two projects, Project 1 and Project 2. And each project is going to last 4 years, 1, 2, 3, 4. And each of those projects has a cost. 100 is going to be the cost of Project 1, and 100 is going to be the cost of Project 2. Now we'll see here, for each of those projects, there are net inflows to the amount that they expect, they forecast that they will generate in inflows in the future. So we have here net inflows for Project 1 of 40 in year 1, 40 in year 2, 50 in year 3, and 10 in year 4. And the same on the other side, 60 in year 1 for Project 2, 10 year 2, 10 year 3, and then a big inflow in year 4 of 80. Now let's calculate the payback for these numbers. So when we're calculating payback, what we're really trying to do is pretty straightforward. We are trying to find out how quickly we can pay back the cost of the investment. And we can see that the cost of the investment is clearly 100. The first thing you do when you calculate payback is make the numbers simple. Lay them out in a lovely little table. So we can see here, I've put the years, 0 for the cost of the investment, 1, 2, 3, 4 with the respective cash flows, the respective inflows in each year. So what we need to do is go through each year and see how much we have paid back and therefore how much we have left to pay back. So at the end of year 1, where we got a cash flow of 40, that would mean in terms of how much we have left to pay back, minus 100 plus 40, that is minus 60. So that means we have 60 left to pay back at the end of year 1. Then in year 2, we have net inflows of 40. So if we want to calculate how much we have left to pay back, what we would do is we would take minus 60 and we will add on year 2's inflows of 40. So that means we have 20 left to pay back. And clearly so far we have paid back 80, 40 plus 40. And then we will do that for the next year. And the next year looks promising. So we will take how much we have left to pay back. So we have 20 left to pay back, so minus 20. And then we will add on the amount of inflows in year 3. And we can see in year 3, we have 50 inflows, and that takes us from a negative number in year 2 to a positive number in year 3. So we know the payback is somewhere between year 2 and year 3. The reason why is because we've gone from negative to positive. So somewhere between year 2 and year 3 is where it's happened. So clearly in terms of the years, it's going to be 2 years and then it's going to be some months, which we need to calculate. That's the interpolation that we need to do. So let's go ahead and do that interpolation. So we can see at the end of year 3, we had paid back the 100 and another 30. So to do the interpolation, to work out the months, what you will do is take how much you had left going into the year you turned positive. So how much we had left going into the year we turned positive was 20. Put your 20 in. Then you want to calculate or take the number of the inflow in that year where you turned positive. That year you turned positive, the inflow was 50. So we'll put 50 in here. Then just simply divide the 20 by the 50, the amount you had left going into the year by how much was made in the year. 20 divided by 50 is 0.4, but that's decimals. So to convert that into months, simply times it by 12. 12 months in a year times by the decimals you've calculated comes to 4.8. So the answer for Project A is the payback happened in 2 years and 4.8 months. Now we can simply repeat the process for Project 2 so we can work out which is paid back quicker. So we can see here, year 0, net inflows of minus 100, and then we will take the minus 100, we will add on the 60 that we got in inflows, takes us to minus 40, got 40 left to pay. Then we got 10, not a very good year 2, we got 10 there. So 10 plus minus 40 is minus 30. We'll repeat the same thing again. So minus 30 plus 10 takes us to minus 20. So we got 20 to pay back, but it's a bonanza year because we're getting 80 in year 4. So we take the minus 20 that we had to pay back, and then we will add on the 80 we get in year 4, and that turns us positive. Fantastic. So we look at the year that we turned positive. So that was year 4, which means we must have paid it back somewhere between year 3 and year 4. That means the years must start with a 3, because at the end of year 4, when it was 4 exactly, we were actually plus 60. So it's got to be somewhere before that. So we need to do an interpolation again. In terms of the interpolation, take the amount you have left to pay back going into the year that you turn positive. So we had 20 minus 20, it's there. So we put 20 here, that was the amount left, and then we find the amount of the entire year. The amount of the entire year in the year that we turned positive was 80. So it looks like it's going to be a quarter of the way along that year it was paid back, because we do 20 divided by 80. That's 0.25, but we just need to convert that back into months. So we do 12 months in a year times by 0.25. That is 3. So lovely round number, 3 months. So the answer is 3 years and 3 months. That's how long it takes to pay back that 100. And the last thing you want to do is see where you paid it back quicker. And it's definitely the case that it was paid back quicker in Project 1, because in Project 1, you paid that 100 back in 2 years and 4.8 months, whether in Project 2, it took 3 years and 3 months. So based on only payback, it looks like Project 1 is better. But if you're looking at the numbers, you can see more profit is being made in Project 2. But if we're looking at just payback right now, Project 1 looks the better one. So if we're thinking about the pros of payback, firstly, it's easy to understand. It's pretty much just how quickly you can pay it back. It informs managers of the speed the project will be paid back. And that's good because it links back to your forecast for your liquidity and your cash flow. So it's a good liquidity measure in terms of payback when managers are thinking about taking on projects. Disadvantages, it doesn't look at the overall returns like in ARR or in NPV, which we're going to use the same numbers for when we calculate that. Check that out in the other videos. And it doesn't adjust for the time value of money like we will see with net present value with NPV. So I hope that helps, and I'll see you at the next sesh.